Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video we're gonna be comparing fruits, swords and guns to find out which is the best. Hopefully at the end of the video you will find out whether you should be a fruit main, sword main or a gun main. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Whenever you join Blox Fruits or any other One Piece game on Roblox, you will have to put stat points into defense, swords or Blox Fruits, and that will determine how you do damage in these games. And of course, when there are different options, some of them are better than the others. So in today's video, I will be comparing devil fruits, swords and also guns because these are the main three categories. So yes, make sure to watch the video till the end and also let me know what build you are using in Blox Fruits. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about being a gun main in Blox Fruits. So essentially what a gun main is, you put all your stat points into melee, defense and also gun. Right there, that's a gun main. And what this basically does is you guys will be dealing a lot of damage with your gun, as you guys can see right here. Like, look at that, I have done 12,000 damage just in 2 seconds. To explain this better, I will give you guys 3 facts about gun mains. First of all, almost every single gun in the game, well at least the ones which are very good, they do extremely high damage. So you guys can easily one-tap your opponents. Secondly, they require you to have good aim. Like, you definitely need to be having very good aim if you want to use guns for PvP. And lastly, guns are not for beginners. If you guys are a beginner with like 2 million bounty or maybe 3 million and you are just learning how to PvP, I wouldn't really recommend you guys to be a gun main. You can be a sword or a fruit main, that would be more easier and also better for you. And lastly, I will be telling you guys the 5 best guns to use if you are going to be a gun main. At number 1, we have Asdam Rifle. This is very strong. Number 2, we have Soul Guitar. Number 3, we have Kabucha. Number 4, we have Bizarre Rifle. And lastly, we have the Serpent Bow. These 5 guns are pretty strong and can help you guys get a lot of bounty. So I think it's time for us to move on into the next stats. Now let's talk about being a fruit main. So for that, you will put your stat points into melee, defense and lastly fruit. Right there, you have 2550 in fruit. With being a fruit main, I will be doing my main output of damage with my fruit, as you guys can see. Well, Portal is not a good fruit to show this, so let me just switch real quick. So whenever you guys start using fruits, you guys will notice one thing. And that is that every single fruit will have at least 3 to 4 moves, and some might even have a lot more than that. So if you are a beginner and you usually miss your moves, you should definitely use a fruit because it will give you a lot more moves compared to swords and guns. And plus in Blox Fruits, there are some fruits which you do not even have to learn any combos for. For example, the Kitsune fruit or the Dragon fruit. You can simply just spam these fruits and you guys will earn easy bounty. Okay, so now let's get into the nerdy facts. First, let's start off with the damage. Generally, every single fruit in this game has a lot of damage. Like, of course, there are a few exceptions which do not deal a lot of damage, for example these early fruits and some in between as well. But for the most part, devil fruits actually deal very high damage. Secondly, I would like to mention that if you guys are using fruits for PvP and you are a fruit main, you will most likely have a lot more mobility moves than your opponents. What mobility means is just basically moving around the map a little bit faster. And usually with almost every single fruit, there is a mobility move. For example, with Kitsune, you are extremely fast. With Leopard, you are very fast. The Doe fruit has a very fast travel. There are some low tier fruits just like the light fruit which also have a very great mobility. So usually when you are using a fruit, you guys will have a lot more ability than your opponent. And finally, we have the last fact. Basically, fruits are very good for beginners. if you guys are new to Blox Fruits and you want to PvP, I would definitely recommend you guys to be a fruit main, especially for your first or second week of bounty hunting, because this is the time where you guys will get used to bounty hunting. And if you guys are using a sword or a gun, yeah, there are going to be some pros and you guys will most likely quit bounty hunting. So yeah, for that reason, if you are a beginner, make sure to use fruits, and if you guys are getting a little bit more skilled, then you guys can move on into guns or swords. And of course, now I have to mention 5 best fruits which you guys can use if you are a fruit main. At number 1, I will be putting the kitsune fruit. Number 2, I will be suggesting you guys to use the dough fruit. Number 3, I would say rumble. And number 4, I would highly recommend you guys to use dragon. And then lastly, at number 5, we have the T-Rex fruit. These 5 fruits are extremely good for fruit mains, so if you are starting out with your bounty hunting journey, I would highly recommend you guys to use these fruits. Okay, it is finally time for us to move on into the next category. Oh yeah, and if you guys are still watching, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, because just for me to reset my stats, I have spent around 7k fragments, which, you know, is not really that easy to get. So yeah, if you guys are still watching, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And now lastly, we are going to be talking about the sword main. For this, you will put your stat points into melee, defense, and lastly sword, just like that. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I think my favorite is the sword main. Yes, I really enjoy being a sword main. Like, using swords in Blox Fruits is so much fun. First of all, just look at the moves, man. They are so smooth, so fast, and they deal very good damage. But of course, that is not enough for it to be the best stat point build in the entire game. So to explain this a little bit better, let's get right into the facts. First of all, just like the other builds, swords actually deal good damage depending upon the sword. If you guys are using a bad sword, of course it will do bad damage. But if you guys are using a good sword, yeah, it's going to be doing some insanely high damage, which you will probably not expect. So for the most part, damage is high on swords. Secondly, swords are a lot more difficult to use than fruits. So like I said previously, if you guys are a beginner, I would highly suggest you guys to use fruits before you turn up to swords, because it's going to be a little bit difficult for beginners. And lastly, without a doubt, if you want to use swords, you will have to practice. Like, you will have to practice a lot if you want to get better. Trust me, man. Because when you guys are using a fruit or a gun, you guys have some room for mistakes. But when you guys are using a sword, if you miss both of your moves, you will have to wait like 10 to 15 seconds. And in that time, your opponent can do whatever he wants, which is of course not a good sign for you. So for that reason, you will definitely need to do a lot of practicing if you guys are trying to be a good sword main. But if you ask me, I really like to use swords rather than fruits for PvP, because it's just a little bit more fast paced, and of course it's always fun to do some amazing combos. So with that being said, it's the time for me to recommend 5 swords. Okay, so the best sword for PvP is definitely Dragon Trident. Yes, this is the most easiest sword to use and a very good sword for gaining bounty. At number 2, I will be putting Cursed Dual Katana. At number 3, I will be putting Spiky Trident because it's a little bit difficult to use. I will not rank it any higher. At number 4, I will be putting Shark Anchor, and at number 5, I will be easily putting Tushita. These 5 swords are extremely good, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot more to choose from, but these are my top 5 and they are extremely good for PvP. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button because I am very close to hitting 50,000 subscribers. That would be a huge milestone. So yeah, thank you so much for subscribing. Oh yeah, and also if you guys are looking for a Discord server in which you can trade with other people, do some fun activities like raids, defeating sea beasts, Leviathan boss, stuff like that, you can join my Discord server down in the description. There are a lot of people exactly like you and having a lot of fun. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.